ladies, we are taping. It is Monday, April 13th. Yes. And as always, we're going to start with a toast. I am drinking a new Belgian Fat Tire Belgian white, Belgian style wheat ale with orange peel. I like it better than the Bell's Belgian white I had some other day we were recording. They're all running together now.
Yeah, I know. It's been crazy.
But Fat Tire's a nice, easy go-to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I am toasting to all the power people out there. They have a name. Linemen. Yes. And things like that are getting the power back on for, I mean, we even lost in parts of North Carolina, and it wasn't that bad of a storm for us. So, especially down south, and everybody working to get us everything we need back. Toast to you.
I've got, it's almost our dark and sassy. But blood orange juice is apparently fucking impossible to find. So I have, it's just a dark and stormy, but it's got an orange pineapple juice blend that I put in it, and it is really good. Probably gonna have another after we're done recording.
Treat yourself.
Yes. And I'm toasting to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which just recently had its 150-year anniversary of being chartered, because, I don't know, probably no one knows this, but I'm a huge, museum nerd, and I love, arts and that kind of stuff, and, I've been to the Louvre and all that shit, so it's, I need the arts, maybe now more than ever, because people are losing their minds, so, and especially here, homeschooling, I can just be like, you know what, we're doing art class, here, color. So
yeah, and they have a lot of virtual tours and stuff.
Yeah.
Tons of museums are doing that right now.
Mm-hmm. So, are you a museum nerd? I don't know why I said that so weird. And that you read every single plaque and stare at every single painting, or are you more I'm just gonna go with the flow?
No, I pretty much go through it categorically and look at everything. I have in high school when we went to France and we went to the Louvre, I have pictures of basically everything that I looked at and read the plaques and everything, and all that stuff. So I'm that person that takes 5 hours to go through.
We would get along well.
I was going to say, that's exactly how I am. My dad is that way too. So anytime we go anywhere together like that, my mom hates it because she is not that person. And me and my dad will sit there and we have to read every single word on every single plaque in every single room. It doesn't matter. We want to know it all. And she hates it.
That's what
when we went to New York when we went to New York in December and went to the Museum of Modern Art, I took Harper through it, and she's 5, so I mean, she enjoyed parts of it, but the other parts she was like, "Okay, come on, let's go. This is boring." Yeah. So her and my mom end up sitting in the lobby for 3 hours waiting on me to get out of there.
Oh my gosh.
That's how, when we were in New York, too, we went to the 9/11 Museum and Memorial, and we had to go one day because, and we even got to skip part of the line because my dad was retired military, but you're not supposed to, but they let us anyway. We didn't ask. They came and asked for people. But anyway, we got our tickets. I didn't realize this. You got to get your tickets to go back, another time. It's not just a line you go to and when you get to the front. But anyway, so the next day, my mom was like, you know what, I'm just going to stay in the hotel room and y'all can go. And we got back, we left at 9 in the morning and got back at 5:30 in the afternoon. She's like, y'all did that really quickly. And I'm like, the only reason that whole day went quickly is because I skipped all the War on Terror part just because emotionally I can't handle it because I know too many people that have gone over there and not come home and stuff like that. But we skipped a whole section of the museum and still took all day. So we
were there all day.
We are going to have to find the best museum in Atlanta to hit up when we all get to go back down there and see Braves baseball. Yeah. And it'll be great.
And I am, again, because I didn't finish my 6-pack last night, I'm drinking this damn blood orange beer again, y'all. It's so good. It's just so good. But I am drinking my last one right now, so it probably won't last. I mean,
okay,
whatever.
So I had a question for you about that because I listened to our John Boy episode today, and you were talking about how there's a goat island that has no electricity.
Yes.
So if there's no people, why would they need electricity was my question.
Well, because some people go camp there. You can
Okay.
camp, but there's no, like, you're camping, not like
Glamping.
you have to go. Yeah. Like you're camping. And actually, I don't know if you still can. At one point, they had kind of pulled like the reins back on that because it was like a lot of teenagers going up there and camping.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all know what teenagers do. So I don't know if you can actually even camp there anymore, but yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering because we have some islands with some wildlife and like you can go for the day and then they shut it down. Like, so you can't stay overnight and stuff.
Nobody really like pays attention to Goat Island. Like it's owned by a power company. So it's not like it's like some park.
Oh, this is ironic now.
Yeah, it's owned by a power company. It's not like it's, some park service that's like, oh, you can go in from 8 to 8, but after that you got to get out or whatever. It's just there. But yeah, so I'm drinking that again, and I'm toasting very similar to yours, Emily. I'm toasting to like all the first responders and everybody down here helping dig folks out. We had I didn't have any damage like right where I'm at, luckily, but a couple of towns that are pretty close to me and where like my best friend where she lives was hit pretty hard. And there's a part of it's a county over, but it's still relatively close because we live in the corner. And the whole neighborhood's like locked down. You can't get in or out right now because they had so much damage. There's a lot of like mobile home parks over there. So far, luckily, there's been no loss of life. There are a couple people unaccounted for, but hopefully that gets straightened out. And it's just they've left and don't have a phone or whatever. But my toast is for all those people, helping everybody try to get back to normal and back to safe and have a good place to spend the night and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. So, there's no easy way to make this segue from that, something so serious. But today we got to interview Chelsea Ladd, and so tell us about her.
And she is a content writer and social media person for Region 1 Sports, and she's the founder of Dugout Dish, which is a blog. She also has a podcast now, which is I've listened to a few episodes. It's actually really, really good. Chelsea grew up a Mets fan thanks to Mike Piazza, and which I don't think any of us can blame her for. Nope. And she covers Major League Ball, minor league ball, independent ball, all that stuff. Girl's a hustler. I mean, she's got like a couple jobs. She's doing Dugout Dish, all that. And not just that, but like she's also keeping up with like 5 teams. Her favorite teams are the Cardinals, the Mets, the Brewers, the White Sox, and the Tigers. And I have a hard enough time keeping up with just the Braves, so I can't imagine trying to keep up with 5 major league teams. But she does it, and she does a pretty good damn job.
And Dugout Dish is both the website and then you can find the podcast by the same name on Spotify, right?
Yeah, it's on Spotify and Stitcher. It's not on Apple Podcasts because I had a really hard time with that because I use Apple Podcasts mainly, but it's not there. So it's on, but it is on Spotify, and I believe Stitcher was the other one.
But anyway, everybody but me has Spotify, so they can just listen to that.
Yeah, that's very true. So we hope you guys enjoy this interview with Chelsea. First thing I want to ask is, what's your favorite moment as a Cardinals fan? I know you were a Mets fan for a long time. What's your favorite Cardinals fan moment?
Probably 2011 Freese hitting the home run. And then there was another moment, but it's not good for being.
Is it Game 5? Would it be Game 5?
I'm Brave fan.
Surely that's not it.
So I'm not. I live with a Braves fan. Like my dad's a diehard Braves guy, and so I watch myself when I do certain things. And like he actually has his little Braves. Probably Grease in 2011. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, cool. So, if you had to quarantine with somebody, we're asking everyone this: one Cardinal, and then like one just completely random person you're not related to. Who would those people be?
I would probably want to be quarantined with Paul DeYoung from the Cardinals, just because he's an expert hunter and fisher, and if things went a little crazy and went south, I feel like he could protect me.
Yeah.
There we go.
I would say Harrison Bader, but I think I would do more of the protecting. So yeah, Paul DeYoung, yeah. And then random. I'm gonna go with a baseball player. I'd go with Daniel Norris, just because he lived in his Volkswagen bus during the off season one year, and so I'm like, okay, well, he knows how to live in a Volkswagen bus. So if push come to shove, that works too.
Yeah, we can make this work.
We're very big fans of men who can keep us alive in hard times. Yeah.
And you don't find those often nowadays.
Not very.
You don't.
Ashlyn snagged her one, but
yeah, I was about to say my husband's he's a crazy one. We have like MREs, thousands of rounds of bullets, all the guns you want. He hunts for us and fishes for us, so we eat that. So I got one of the few left, but they're not as common, that's for sure.
Oh.
So, Braves Twitter, we're pretty big on dad jokes, and it's helping a lot of people right now to kind of lift up their spirits. Do you have a go-to dad joke, or just think of whatever your dad said yesterday?
What was it? There was one that I said a long time ago to someone, and actually, like, they never laughed at any of my jokes, and I actually laughed at that one, and I cannot think of it.
Like Jeff Donahue, Braves Twitter dad joke extraordinaire yesterday said, "What seat does the Easter Bunny choose on the airplane? The one closest to the X."
Oh,
like, it's so bad, it's funny again.
It's actually really good. I don't know what it was. I wish I could remember what it was.
Cut that out. Don't encourage Jeff.
I know. We should, but we won't. I never cut anything out that I'm supposed to.
Hey,
there's more fun when everything's in there.
Yeah. It's just too much trouble.
Right?
Do you have another favorite baseball movie?
Major League.
Oh, I did love that
Major League is all-time favorite, and then A League of Their Own's right behind it, and number 3 is Bull Durham.
So I had seen Bull Durham years ago. I love minor league baseball, and it's set in North Carolina. They're now, I think they're a AAA team. I'm probably wrong about that. They're not single A anymore. I know that because they moved out of Carolina's league. But I had to watch Bull Durham. It's like a rite of passage down here. And so I saw that a long time ago. League of Their Own I saw like 2 weeks ago, and Major League I saw last week. Major League 2 was horrible.
Oh, it's so bad.
Some people like it.
It's not.
I mean, if the last 45 minutes were funny, I don't know, because then it already lost me. So
yeah, it's not good. It's so bad.
Yeah. Do you read like baseball books or?
I actually have a few in front of me. I have one on the 1986. I think it's 86. The 69 Mets. I have one on the 69 Mets, the 1919 World Series, and then Moneyball, which I have not read Moneyball, and that's like a cardinal sin in baseball world. But
what are the names of the first 2 books? Because I like to read, so I'll probably read before I'll watch another movie.
It is The Betrayal.
Okay.
And
I'm assuming that's about the Sox.
Yeah. And then my baby is They Said It Couldn't Be Done. So, and his daughter is actually a writer for The Athletic. His daughter or granddaughter, I can't remember. But those are pretty good.
I need to read the book on the Black Sox. I went through like a Infamous America. Their first season was on the Black Sox. It's a podcast, and I think it was like 8 episodes or something. And I listened to it, and then I like single-handedly in like 2 days tried to like absorb as much information about the Black Sox as I could. But I did not read that book. I need to add that to my list.
And a movie, the 8 Men Out movie, was really good.
Yeah.
I watched that yesterday. But I love John Cusack anyway and stuff, so that was easy to digest. And it's free if anybody out there has IMDb channel. I don't know, it's on my Fire Stick, but it was free, so that was good.
Oh,
wow. So if you had to choose an AL team to root for,
it's easy for me. The White Sox.
Well, there you go. Everyone said this was a big year for them. They had a big off season.
Yes, they were looking pretty good, and of course with everything going on. But their starting 5, like their pitching, oh my God, it was going to be nasty this year.
That's what I'd say. That they got Dallas for a couple of years though, right? He wasn't a 1-year deal.
No, they've got him for a few years, and they've got Gio Gonzalez. That was with the Brewers. Of course, Dylan Cease. He's younger, but he's going to be fantastic. Lucas Giolito with his good hair.
We do love good hair.
We do.
Tim Anderson's fun too.
So
right.
are most of them signed longer, locally. Like so you won't lose out on them.
And we got Yasmani Grandal, which he's one of the best catchers around.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
There's certain people down here that wanted Grandal, but we're happy with who we got. I think I'm happy with him.
As someone who loves the Mets, I think you guys got a good one.
Yeah.
I hate what happened with the Mets, but the way his story lined up and everything worked for him last season, he really turned it around and really like shocked me with the Rays. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were excited to see him play. I wish we would have gotten to see him play a little more, in spring training before everything came to a screeching halt. But hey, next year.
My dad was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, sit down. Let me tell you everything I know about him."
So I have a little game for you. So it's between these 3 players, who would you keep, who would you trade, and who would you sign to a 1-year deal? Bob Gibson, Ozzie Smith, or Yadier Molina? What do you do with each of them?
I'm going to really get in trouble for this one. I would trade Yachty.
Ooh.
We're not mad about that.
No.
1-year deal for Ozzie and run with Gibson.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And you love Ozzie.
I love Ozzie. Like I actually got to meet him in January, and he's so nice. Awesome. But Gibson's my guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, this is kind of a little bit off the wall question. We have a lot. I don't know. This may happen in all fan bases, but Braves fans have a lot of Braves-related tattoos. Like a lot. It's a thing. Marla's going to get a tattoo of Folty if he hits a home run this year. Or a tattoo for Folty if he hits a home run this year.
So, I think that should carry over to 2021, just if anything might happen.
True. It should.
I'm not opposed to it.
So, if you were going to get a tattoo for one Cardinals player, who would it be and what would it be?
It would be the Heath Ledger Joker for Jack Flaherty.
That's a cool one.
Mm-hmm. Does he really like Heath Ledger, or do we just think he's a joke?
No.
I'm sorry, I had to.
That's a brave side.
That's his persona, like he always goes back to that version of the Joker before his games. He quotes him, so that's like his thing. Right. So
that's cool.
So do he and Matt Harvey like get in fights because of the Dark Knight and the Joker?
I could see that happening.
I went to college with Matt Harvey, and he probably would get in a fight over.
Like Jack is so intimidating in person. Like I automatically assumed he would be intimidating, but then when I was in the room with him, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I can see that.
Very short, and like he's just like, it's like this difference, and I'm just like, that's a grown man in front of me.
How tall are you, Chelsea? Because everybody but Marlon's short, so.
I am 5'2".
I'm 5 foot. I think I bring up the bottom down here. Me and Jessica Kleinschmidt on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. We can wear heels and not have to worry about it.
Right. Exactly. And Jack is one of those players. If he wasn't on, like if he was on our team, I think we'd all like him.
Oh
yeah. I mean? If he was a Brave, I'd like him a lot.
But he's not. So
he's a lot to take in. But he, outside of baseball, he's a really good guy. But as someone who wasn't a Cardinals fan and for a long time, like even when I was still like closer to the Brewers and the Mets, like I was just like, I don't know about this guy, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm cocky, but now I'm just like, I love Jack.
I love you.
And you want players on your team who have that level of like, I'm gonna go out there and nobody can beat me kind of thing. Yeah. So completely switching gears from, serious baseball players. Our very first episode, we did a draft of the best butts of the Braves. So you can take this as you will. If you think someone has particularly nice peach on the Cardinals or just overall best looking man.
Best looking man on the Cardinals would probably be a three-way tie between, no, I'm going to get myself in trouble. Harrison Bader, John Gant, and Daniel Ponce de Leon.
Oh, yeah.
And
I agree heavily with that last one.
And the best butt is Paul DeYoung. Hands down. And especially in the blue unis.
Are y'all having like a uni pull-off bracket kind of thing? Like the Braves are doing it right now, and Braves Facebook is killing us with the uniforms they're picking.
Stupid.
No, we're just kind of...
See, there's a lot of things when you do. I don't know if other fan bases do, like tailgating. Do y'all tailgate before games?
Everyone goes to Ballpark Village.
Okay.
And gets a little tipsy and then goes on over to Busch. And like Ballpark has the Fox Sports Midwest where they're set up, and then they have a few bars, and that's actually where I met Ozzie Smith. And Yachty's brother, Benji, like he was there and he bumped into me and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Please
Benji,
bump into me.
I'm sorry. You bumped
anytime.
I bumped into you. I don't know what you're talking about." But yeah,
we have like a lot.
Like Cardinals social media, like they're not necessarily up to par with a lot of other social media. I feel like you look at look at the Marlins Twitter, and then you look at the Cardinals Twitter, and it's just like they're thriving, and we're just kind of, here's another video of David Freese hitting the home run.
Right.
It's like
Rockies have a good one too.
Maybe you should take control of their social media for a little bit.
There you go.
I feel like I would do a pretty good job at it. I mean, that's technically my job with Region 1, so it's like, please.
That would be good.
So you mentioned on your one episode that you grew up in a cycling household. What's that about? Did your parents do that or what?
My dad, he raced mountain bikes.
Oh, okay.
From the time I was like maybe 12 until a few years ago when he got hurt and was in the hospital for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then before that, my uncle, my cousin, and my dad all raced motorcycles.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
My family's constantly doing something. Like my poor mother, like my dad, he played baseball and football in high school, and then when he got out of school, he played a little college baseball here at our community college. He tries to be like, yeah, I played college ball. And like, I love you, but and then he played slow pitch softball, raced mountain bikes, raced cars,
Wow.
and motorcycles, like. And when he wasn't doing that, I was playing softball. And so my mom she's a strong woman to put up with.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stress.
Everyone's always like, why don't you have more kids? And she said, do you see what I have? I have him and her. I don't need any more.
Yeah, like that's enough.
So do you do anything like for an adrenaline rush, like race motorcycles, or baseball's enough for me? Like I almost have a heart attack half the season.
Like covering sports and watching baseball, like that's good for me. Like,
yeah. I
have a bike, my own mountain bike, but the tires are flat. They've been flat for probably 2 years. I don't have any desire to be on it. I mean, yeah, my adrenaline comes from that 7th inning when the game's tied and you don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 innings, honestly.
And you get 2 on, 2 outs, and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Yeah.
I was looking back at
Cardinals.
pictures. Yeah, I was looking back at pictures from last year, and it was when we played the Marlins, one of those games, and we were up like 6-0 in the 6th inning. And then by the time it was like the 8th, top of the 8th, or maybe the 7th, I don't know. They had scored 3 runs and there was 3 on. And then by the bottom of the ninth, it was tied. And then I think that's the one where Dansby hit the walk-off. But like, I was just scrolling through the pictures because I had like screenshotted that app because I wasn't even watching it at home. And I was like, just reminiscing like on the stress that caused. I miss the stress.
Yeah.
I actually was at the game at Busch Stadium because we were going to go to a motorcycle race, and it got rained out in Springfield, so we just went all the way back to St. Louis. And the Braves were playing, and it was when they came back in extra innings and won. Like, they tied it, and then they actually won it in extra innings. And at that time, I was so happy that the Braves won. I was just like, yes. And I think it was a nostalgia thing because my dad finally got to see him play in person. Like, he'd never been able to see him play before. And so he was just so happy, and it was just so precious watching him every time Freddie would come up to bat. He's just like, there's my boy. And I'm like, this is what it's about, you know? And
yeah,
for sure.
My cousin, it was his first Major League Baseball game ever, and he's like 10 or 11, and so he's a big Yachty fan. And when we were leaving, my dad was like dancing and singing on the way back to the car, and my cousin was just like, this is ridiculous. He was so mad. My dad was like, hey, take your Yachty tumbler and be quiet back there. Like, he was so mad. It was amazing. Like, I loved it. And of course, getting to see Dansby in person is great too. So
oh yeah.
That's always
That's always good. Highlight of every time I go to Atlanta.
Right.
So I kind of have a 2-parter. So like, I love a good second baseman, shortstop. Probably second base would be my favorite position. I don't know. But anyway, what is your favorite like player position, and who's your favorite player like in history that's been there?
Probably catcher and Mike Piazza.
Good choice.
Yep. It is a good choice.
Yeah,
I
always
rewatch. like a couple weeks ago, ESPN re-aired the game right after September 11th, where we played the Mets, and he got the walk-off, and it was like you couldn't even be mad at him for winning, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like there was still so much emotion. Like I cried watching it. What is it? 19 years later at my own house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were watching it. My dad was just like, "Oh yeah, I remember this game." He was like, "This is the one time I was okay with the Braves losing to the Mets," and I was like, "Yeah, I remember." You were like, "Well, congratulations." I was madly in love with Mike Piazza then. I was like in 4th grade, I think, and I was just like, maybe 5th grade, but either way, I was just like, "Oh, that's man." And my mom walked by, and my dad and I were watching it the other day, and my mom walked by, and she was like, "Who is that?" I was like, you don't know who that is. And she's like, "Yeah, never mind. I know who that is. That was your pretend husband when you were in 5th grade." Yeah.
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 Oh my pretend husband was Chipper Jones, so I get it.
See, that's my dad. Like, he is one of my dad's all-time favorites. I actually have my dad's Chipper Jones jersey from the 90s in my bedroom closet beside me.
Ashley's eyes just lit up for people who can't see.
Yeah. I have a Chipper Jones jersey that I literally got in like 1996 that I still wear. It somehow still fits me. Evidently, it was really big then. I don't know. But like the letters are falling off, the numbers are falling off, but I will have that jersey forever. Forever.
That is amazing.
I think my first pretend husband was Javi Lopez, also a catcher.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Just love Lopez.
He was pretty close up there with Mike Piazza for me for a while. I feel like Javi is a very underappreciated catcher.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
If you get, especially in that era of baseball, like I feel like he kind of just went under the radar compared to Mike and others like Pudge and.
Well, and he wasn't like even one of the top 4 players you thought of when you thought of the team because we were stacked. So
right, he just kind of like fell by the wayside. Despite how good he was. Like,
Marla, who was your first pretend husband?
Probably Johnny Depp.
Honestly,
not baseball
Johnny
related, but
pretend husband.
I was gonna say he still could be, so that's okay.
Hey, yeah.
So kind of left field here. If you won the lottery, what would you spend like your first, let's say, $100 million on? What would you spend it on?
I would pay off I'd pay my parents' house off and my car. And then I would finally buy that dream Louis Vuitton that I've always wanted.
Yeah.
And then probably try to find a house or apartment in St. Louis.
Well, would you be okay with just one dog, or would you want a house so you could have like 50 dogs?
My dog is absolutely a terror most days, so I'm just go with one.
I can relate to that. We have a Shih Tzu, and he's kind of a terror, so I get that.
We were watching a movie last night, and like I was sitting on one end of the couch, and my dad was on another, and my mom was on the love seat, and Ellis, the dog, just jumps in between me and my dad, and she's just watching it, like focused on it. Like, she did not like it. But finally, she fell asleep in my arms, and I'm like, "Oh, this is one. You're my favorite," because she's just like she looks like a little roller coaster. But as soon as she wakes up, she's just raring to go, and it's a lot.
Is she still a puppy though?
Yeah, she will be a year old in June.
Oh wow.
She's built like Scrappy Doo right now because she's in that transition where she's not a puppy, but she's not a grown dog. She's a yellow lab.
Oh, and labs stay puppies like forever. You know that.
Yeah.
So.
So, what's your favorite Oreo flavor?
I am basic. I just give me the OG Oreo and I will be happy.
Not even like double stuffed or anything?
Just regular Oreos. Although I am a big fan of the troll Oreos that have like the glitter in them, like that.
Oh yeah.
I ate those my first quarantine.
I love the red velvet ones. Oh my gosh.
I do like the red velvet ones. I will not eat oddly colored food anymore for a story I won't go into too much detail about, but I had too much green ketchup at one point in my life. Yeah. So all like of the movie release ones, it was when Dr. Seuss something or another came out. They just kind of freaked me out.
It's okay. I only eat red candy, and I have absolutely no reason behind it. I only eat red Skittles, red M&Ms, red Starburst, red Sour Straw, whatever. I'm only eating the red ones. No reason. Just
does David or the kids eat the rest, or do you just throw them away?
Depends. Usually the kids will eat them, but and at work I have like a designated. We have this kid that works for us that like he gets all my leftover candies that I don't eat the colors of. So he just comes to I keep like a candy dish that I put the leftover candies in, and Pine comes and gets them.
Wow.
Again, I just like to keep life difficult, I guess. I don't know. I have no good reason.
I'm the same way. I don't even really like chocolate. So when people give me chocolate, I'm just like, thanks.
Same. I don't eat candy bars like at all. None of that. No, thank you.
I'm a gummy worm kind of girl.
Yes.
I like gummy worms because you can play with your food in your mouth. But what was your high school like glory days best softball story?
Probably. Oh, this is so bad. Probably my senior year, we were playing a team that they weren't very nice to us. And I got a girl out a league of their own style at home plate.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And my catcher, she missed the ball. I went running. The girl went home, and she flipped it to me. I caught it. The girl tackled me. And, like, I was a lot smaller 11 years ago. And so we both collided, went two different directions, but I never dropped the ball. And the girl was out. And that was one of my finest moments, except the team started gunning for me. And then, like, one of them hit a line drive. Like, I'm left-handed, and I tried to catch it. And so my senior prom, I had a big giant softball imprint on my arm, so that was real cute. And then they moved me to first base, and they started lining them to first base. And, like, my mom was freaking out because I had my nose broken, like, a few years before that playing. And that was actually my glory story because I didn't realize my nose was broken. So, like, I just kind of turned around to face the bleachers, and, like, my white jersey was, like, just covered in blood. And I was like, why is everyone staring at me like this?
Oh,
and
so like a real badass
everybody was running out, and they're like, Chelsea, your nose is sideways. You need to go to the ER. And I'm like, no, just get me a jersey. Just get me some new socks. Let's go. I want to finish this game. And they're like, Chelsea, no, you cannot finish this game. Yeah, I had to have emergency surgery after that. I was probably way too hardcore back then. My body feels it now, and I wake up every morning, but it happens.
Worth it. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I read a little about like how you decided to start Dugout Dish. I read a little about Kirk, and like that broke my heart. But how long did you know you kind of wanted to go in this direction? Like, was it something you want to do since you were a kid, or like high school, college, or how'd that work?
I wanted to do it as a kid. Like, I would watch Baseball Tonight and Sports Center, and I was like, hey, I want to be on there. And then in high school, I kind of come to reality that I was like, I don't really want to go off very far and be away from my parents. I'm an only child. And so I just kind of was like, I'll take the easy way out. I'll go. It's not the easy way out, but I went the medical route. And I actually, of course, I had skin cancer, so I didn't get to it ended up being better that I stayed here than going off. But it was always in the back of my mind. And after my divorce and after everything and after Kirk's death, I was like, you know what? You've only got one life. I'm going to go after what I've always wanted to do. And I didn't even expect anything to come out of it. And I applied for like a newspaper clerk type job, and they read my stuff, and they were like, would you want to be a freelance stringer for us? And then I was just like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. This is me. Stuff like this doesn't happen. And so, yeah, it's always been there with me. I just finally took that leap. It took me long enough, but I finally did it.
Better late than never.
And it's amazing how that stuff works out. So, like, now, if your dream interview.
Well, it goes back to Daniel Norris.
Okay.
He pitches for the Tigers. Of course, he restored a Volkswagen bus and lived in it. And like, there's a story where he was like camping out outside of the stadium, and like the cops came and were like knocking on. They were like, "Hey, you can't be here." And they realized it was him. And he was just like, "I play here tomorrow." But he grew up in Tennessee. I'm big with my faith, and he's very big with his faith. We're both left-handed pitchers now. He actually had kids, and he's all good now, but just he seems like a really good human being in and outside of the game, and I would just love to actually sit down and have a conversation with him and, like, you know, just talk shop and talk life with him.
So shoot your shot, straight shot down by anybody, because nobody has anything to do.
Like, I really am proud of you guys. Like, I think it's fantastic what you're doing.
But if you want us to gas you up for Daniel Norris, we are right here. We will do it.
We are shameless on Twitter. We will do it.
Yeah.
And they might just agree, so we leave them alone. So, but, you know.
Hey, I need all the help I can get.
All right.
I'm a walking disaster.
You know what?
I just have no shame.
That's how much of a disaster I am. My most hilarious interaction outside of social media is probably Paul DeYoung, because when I did winter warm-ups this year, like, I hadn't asked any questions at all, and like, one of the guys like that does stuff for St. Louis News, he even told my dad, he was like, Chelsea hadn't asked any questions. I'm fixing to raise her hand, and I don't care who's up there. I'm going to be like, she asked a question. And I'm like, no, stop. I like just sitting here, like, filming. I'm going to write about it. It's good. I'll just take whatever they say.
You're the exact opposite of all of us, just so you know, because no one else in the press room would be able to talk.
They'd kick us out.
Be like, we have 900 questions for each of you. And also, please come on your podcast afterwards.
Like, so finally I got my nerve up, and it was Paul. And like, he walked in and he just kind of bounced on it, and like, Paul DeYoung's probably the most normal Cardinal ever. His mom follows me on Twitter. Like, they're the greatest. And so he's one of my favorites. And I finally, my cat just sneezed. Oh my God. Finally, I was like, you know what?
She got the Rona.
Probably.
Oh, God.
And so I was like, it's Paul. It's okay. It's good. And so finally, I had on a turtleneck because I knew I would just be covered in hives, like nervous hives. Like, my chest was blotchy. I was like, my eyelashes are probably going to fall off, but we're good. And, so I asked him a question, and the guy was like, oh, well, no more questions. And Paul was like, no, you're good. What's the question? And so I asked him, and then he left after he answered me. I ran to the bathroom, had a mild, like, panic attack, and I was just like, did it. And then I realized that I bought an autograph ticket to meet him in a warm-up, and he fixed to go on. So I had literally 5 minutes in between seeing him then and seeing him in line. And so when I got up there, I was like, hey. He's like, you're the one that just broke the rules, aren't you? You're the rule breaker. And I was like, that's how I roll.
Yes.
So we had like 3-4 minute con while I was up there because he was like, how are you doing both? And I told him, I was like, well, you see, didn't know I was going to get credentialed. So I went ahead and got like autographed tickets for me and the girl that used to do dugout stuff with me for her Christmas. And so he was like, well, I'm Paul, and shook my hand. And I was like, I know you're Paul, but I'm Paul. And then, like, I had to run back there, and, like, Lane Thomas and Ponce were in there. And then I had to go back and see Lane because I'd bought for Lane, too. And then I sent the picture to my mom and dad, and my mom's like, oh, my God, you look like siblings.
Yeah.
So now every time they see Thomas, they're like, oh, look, there's your brother. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Thank you. This is great. This is awesome.
See, my mom probably would say we probably should have kept him and given you away, but like,
that's just her. My dad saying that. My dad he met Carlos Martinez, and then I was in the press room, so I didn't get to see Ponce or Giovanni. So my dad hooked me up, although they signed it upside down. There's Giovanni and there's Ponce. So it just sits there with my Wayno autograph on the other side.
That's cool. I have to I don't have many autographed things, but I got a Charlie Blackmon autograph ball a couple weeks ago from a friend, and now I'm like, I want all the autographed things, all of them, just all of them.
How about you tell her about your bat? That's gonna be there's never gonna be any more soon.
It's gonna be here. Hold on. This is a Max Fried broken bat. This is from a double at one of the games I saw when we played. I don't think maybe the Dodgers. Either the Dodgers or the Phillies, one of the two. And he hit a double and he broke his bat. And the Braves, I'm sure lots of places have this, but the Braves have a game used store in the stadium. Mm-hmm. And so they'll take the stuff immediately from the game and they'll authorize it and then it's for sale. And so we went in and I told my husband, I was like, I want to get something from the thing. And I was just going to get a foul ball or some shit, whatever. And he saw the bat up on the thing. He was like, well, first of all, my husband doesn't really watch baseball that much. And there's a Hank Aaron bat up there. He was like, why don't you get that one? I was like, because it's $800.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me? And he was like, oh, well, there's that Max guy. You sure like him, don't you? As I'm wearing a Max Fried t-shirt. I was like, yeah, I like that guy. And he was like, well, we'll just get that one. So that's my first prized possession. And then I had this Josh Donaldson foul ball that I ended up getting Swarzak to sign randomly. Because Swartzy stood out there forever and that's a nice dude. He stood out there and signed for kids for an hour after the Phillies game and did not stop signing stuff until everybody had their stuff signed. He's a cool dude.
Andrew Kisner, when I went to Christian Day, it was one of his first starts and they were getting everything ready for Wayne and Paul Goldschmidt, all of them to come out and give their testimonies. And Kisner kept signing autographs. And they were like, you've got to go. Andrew, you've got to go. And, his girlfriend, Allie, she was there. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But he literally signed for every single kid. And I'm like.
That's awesome.
I'm like, never change. Please never change.
Right. So, Max Fried hitting things. Oh, I think it's my dog barking there. Max Fried hitting things. Do you think the DH should come to the NL or?
I don't want to see it come to the NL, honestly. I enjoy seeing Noah Syndergaard hit that random home run and Jack Flaherty's double. And Adam Wainwright got a Silver Slugger award. I don't want to lose that. I really I enjoy seeing a pitcher that can hit.
Me too. But we still all think it's coming eventually, whether we tell them we don't want it or not.
They're not going to listen to me.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
They should, but they won't. Okay, you got time for one more question, and then we'll let you go.
Oh, you guys are good. I just was getting bombarded because I decided to be the only girl in a custom league on MLB The Show.
Oh, okay.
And there's 29 guys and me, and none of them can get anything together.
Sure, I'm like, I just sounds about right.
Yeah, tell us more about how men need women to do things for them. Trying to find this is a weird question. Someone asked us, like, what's your least favorite state / which would you sleep through on a road trip?
Probably. I've never been, but I feel like I would sleep all the way through Arkansas.
Yeah, it's really pretty, but also looks like a lot of stuff around it.
Like,
I mean, it looks like southern Missouri. I mean,
I've slept all through Indiana.
Yeah. What's your favorite state to go to?
Probably Florida. Probably.
Do you have a favorite area?
And Panama City, and Port St. Joe.
Yeah, we go with my husband's family to Panama City like every single year, and the kids everybody loves it. But like we go every year. We stay in the same houses. We go to the same restaurant. It's
like that.
We've been to.
That's what we would do. I actually got engaged in Panama City.
Ashlyn fell on the back of a truck there, so almost the same thing.
You know, lots of stuff happens down there.
Same.
What happens in PCB stays in PCB.
That's what I'm saying. That's the redneck Las Vegas down there.
Oh yes, 100%.
So where's somewhere you'd really want to go that you haven't been yet?
Believe it, New York.
Oh.
I just went in December, and it's as cool as I thought it was going to be.
So don't go between Christmas and New Year's. It's really cool because they still have all the Christmas stuff up, but it is so crowded. It's insanity. That's when we went, and it was really fun, but it was like insane.
Oh my God.
We went at the mid-December, and it's insane. Like, it was ridiculously packed. I want to go to New York in the summer. Because, we went and spent one basically whole day walking around Central Park, but it was 33 degrees outside. So, I going and doing that when it's I don't know how hot it gets there in the summer, but 70 would be awesome.
It actually gets pretty hot, I think, because the whole concrete and stuff.
Guys.
Yeah. But, okay. We'll talk about that again in August.
Yeah. I'm 4 hours from New York City, so that's all our school trips were there and everything. So I've been there a few times. It is cool though.
I always want to go to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So that I don't know why. That's
too many people for me.
No, I went to a hotel room overlooking the parade route. Yes.
Yeah, that I could do.
In high school, I got invited to dance in the parade, and I didn't go because it was $2,000, and my parents didn't have $2,000 to send me up there. But now I'm like, hey, y'all should have figured it out, because that would have been cool.
That would have been your glory days story.
Exactly. Missed it. Oh, well. Now mine's falling out the back of a truck, whatever.
Hey, it happens.
Okay, so very, very last question. Promise.
Now that we've said that 6 times.
I say this all the time. Everyone who listens to Mansplain Baseball elsewhere knows I just keep it going. But we like talking to you. So anyway, 2020 season, we've had so many rumors out there about everything. So what do you think is going to happen?
I'm hoping that the whole idea for the grapefruit and the cactus leagues actually happens.
As an exhibition or as like an actual, this is a real season?
Honestly, probably as a real season, unless something changes, because I really do want to go back to Busch, and I promised my dad I would take him to Atlanta this year. So that's just thrown that out, but I'm 50-50 on us getting a season and us not getting a season. I think as time goes on, they're going to push it, and they're going to continue to push it off and push it off. And to the point that it's like, oh, it's August and September. Do we really have time before football starts? Do we really have time before people move on to another sport?
Mm-hmm.
That's my main concern. Like, I just don't want to see them continue to push it off until it's too late in the year. And then like, oh, so we'll see in 2021.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
We were talking about that with John Boy on Saturday, but like they're going to keep doing it because that'll give people plenty of news and keep them excited. Versus like if they came out tomorrow and we're like, we'll see you next year, everyone will be like, screw baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We want to see it, but I think we're divided, and we want real baseball, and we know we're not going to get it probably because of logistics and everything like that.
Yeah.
So you'd rather have some baseball than none, but then also, especially with it being like all the mess that happened in the off season, you know, just don't.
It's going to be 2021 before we find out what happened with the Red Sox. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
like every day, it's like.
And then they'll probably give them time served since we could not play a whole game this year and Hinch is all free. So anyway, but let's end on a high note. See, that wasn't really my last question, but I want to end on a positive note. I should have known that question would not be one. Your silver lining to come out of all this quarantine, no sports crap. What's your silver lining?
Hopefully I am able to lose 15 pounds. No, not gonna happen. But probably my silver lining is being able to work on dugout dish more.
Yeah.
Like, I've had the opportunity to actually work on it and fix the site and make plans. Whereas when I was working 2 jobs, it was kind of like, oh, maybe I should write today, or I don't have time to do it. But now I have time, so it's more of me putting in an effort and being able to re-energize myself. Kind of. And beat some boys in MLB The Show. That's right.
You should put it on Twitch. I'm sure you get a great audience.
Oh gosh.
Well, we are glad you came on. We had a blast talking to you.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So our question from the grab bag is, ironically enough, one that we asked Chelsea in our interview today. If you won $100 million in the lottery, what would you do? I have to make it a big number because, you know, like nowadays $1 million doesn't go that far.
Yeah, I know.
I'll still take it.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm getting excited about this 1,200 we're getting, okay? So
that's what I'm saying. I would pay off my house, pay off our cars, and buy a motorcycle.
It's an expensive ass motorcycle.
And then
she would save some for her kids and stuff. Okay?
That's what I'm saying. The rest would be lame stuff, like the kids' college and like
they can make their own money.
Prosperity.
I would pay off whatever's left on my parents' mortgage. It's almost gone. And my car, and then I'd buy not like a huge house, like a farmhouse, kind of like the Field of Dreams farmhouse in the middle of nowhere with a shit ton of land. Because I kind of want to start a rescue, and I'd start with dogs and then probably end up with horses and God knows what else out there, but not like a Tiger King rescue,
like a normal people,
like a rescue where I can afford to feed my animals, not off a Walmart meat truck. Okay.
And when you care about the animals, oh my God.
Yeah, like I would take them to the vet and not shoot them in the head. But anyway, Max would still be an inside dog. Who knows about the rest of them? But he would love to have some buddies to play with. And I probably have some chickens and a garden because that's what people do down here when they have a lot of land. And like an epic family vacation somewhere, probably Europe. My brother's been to Germany, but the rest of us haven't been to Europe. So I think that'd be really cool. And then just like a college fund for my nephews. Sawyer especially, he is on the autism spectrum. And I hate the term high functioning. Like, I don't like it. I think every child functions well, but we're not going to get into that. But it still, I know, is a worry about what happens if your child with disabilities outlives you, like they probably will. So I would definitely set something up for both my nephews, but especially him, because I want my brother and sister-in-law to have that peace that he is taken care of no matter what happens.
Yeah.
I would, the obvious things, paying off my student loans and paying off, mortgages and all that stuff. We'd find a house and buy it somewhere. But other than that, we've kind of always wanted to open a cat cafe / like special
It'd be vegan, wouldn't
cafe.
It? Oh.
So we would do that. There's a wolf sanctuary that's pretty close to us. People probably don't know. I'm like obsessed with wolves. So I'd probably buy that and make sure all their bills are paid. And yeah, kind of the same thing. My little brother's autistic, so the same thing, making sure he's taken care of and stuff would be a big thing. And after that, I have no idea. Probably buy a nice car, because my car is really old.
And bank it, and don't tell anybody that you won the lottery.
I would not murder my husband and feed him to the wolves. So
I'm glad Bank can rest easy now.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people's win the lottery dreams are kind of just the same, like a splurge or two, and the rest just basic.
Yeah,
stuff.
like just living shit.
Yeah. I mean, would y'all still work, or?
I'd probably volunteer doing something. I need something.
Yeah, I would say I can't just be sitting at the house, so I'm gonna do something. I might not, go 9 to 5, but I would definitely probably volunteer something because my brain would need me to.
Yeah, I definitely keep my professional license up and volunteer more and do kind of community social work. I love what I'm doing now, but there's a lot of people that would die to get into my position, and there's a lot that don't want to do kind of the messier jobs. But I think if you were only doing the messier job like a day or two a week, that'd be doable.
Bad.
Yeah.